Hi, I'm Hassan, the lecturer here at the Institute of Medical Education. Today, we're going to take a look at solutions to Section 3 of ACER's GAMSAT Pink Booklet, Practice Test 3, specifically Unit 14, questions 40 to 42. And in this unit, we're going to have to help our poor friend Fred, who needs to know if he's going to have alcohol in his system after he's gone on a new diet, and whether he can obviously start his car and go to work and make some money to feed his family. So we've been told that a breath alcohol interlock ignition device has been planted on his car so that he can, the only way to start his car is if he detects a blood alcohol system less than a cutoff. But let's just assume he shouldn't have any alcohol in his system. So a couple of points from this unit. We have to manipulate and understand how to use half-lives. There is a bit of a twist here. ACER was a bit cheeky here, but we'll go through it. And just note that Fred, we've been told he hasn't consumed any alcohol, but he is on a very low-calorie diet. And with this diet, after a couple of days, because the body is going to need energy, it starts breaking down the fat. Now, note this, after a couple of days, the body breaks down fat and it's going to produce these intermediaries. So propanone, beta hydroxybutyrate, and 3-oxobutynate into the blood. Now, propanone, it's a very volatile ketone. We can excrete it in urine or we can excrete it from our breath, but it can also get reduced to an alcohol called 2-propanol. Now, it's important to note that propanone has a 20-hour half-life. So we'll assume for brevity here, or just for ease sake in the GAMSAT, 20 hours, it has a half-life of 1 day. So every day that it's in the system, it's going to get halved. Its amount in the system is going to halve. So let's just assume that. And the propanol has a much quicker half-life at 4 hours. So it will still be in the system after 4 hours, but after that, it will just half and half and half. So let's just take a look here at question 40. It says, if Fred tries to start a car fitted with the breath alcohol interlock ignition device, the car will, either it's going to work or it's going to start or it's not going to start based on the amount of alcohol in his system. So let's just draw the half-life table, if you will, for the propanone in his system. So remember the BAIID apparatus or the instrument only detects alcohol. The reason why we're looking at the propanone is because it can get reduced to the alcohol, which is 2-propanol. That's what's going to get detected by the instrument. So keep that in mind. So here's the trick that ACER introduced. Your half-life isn't going to start on day 1 of the diet, because we're told in the stimulus, after a couple of days, that's when the body starts to break down fat, and that's when we're going to lead to the high concentration of propanone in the blood. So we have to wait a couple of days so that we can break down the fat when we start this diet. Then we're going to introduce propanone into the system. So that's why, let's say after a couple of days, our propanone's here now. So remember, 20-hour half-life, we'll just assume it's a day. So the next day, it's going to go down to 50, then 25, then 12.5. Then by the end of the week, he should have around 6 or 7% of what was at the beginning of propanone left, which means he still has propanone in his system, which means the propanone can get reduced to the propanol. Even though the propanol has a 4-hour half-life, it doesn't matter. The point is he's got propanone in his system at day 7, which means there's still a risk that you're going to detect the 2-propanol in his blood. So using the instrument, the BAIDD instrument. So therefore, the answer for 40 has to be C. So the car might not start due to 2-propanol in his breath, not propanone, because propanone, so the blood alcohol interlock ignition device detects alcohols only. Propanol is the alcohol, propanone is not. So the answer for 40 is C. So if we take a look now at question 41, so it says, suppose 2-propanol is detected in Fred's breath. Which of ethanol or propanone is also likely to occur in Fred's breath? Now, here's a trick. They twisted this question around. So you might think, oh, well, the blood alcohol interlock ignition device doesn't detect, it only detects alcohols, which means we're not going to detect propanone. That's correct. But the question, read closely, is asking, what are we going to detect in Fred's breath? So we're told in the stimulus that he hasn't had any alcohol in the past week. And we're also told that propanone is a volatile ketone that can be exhaled, or excreted in breath and urine. So obviously exhaled in breath and excreted in urine. So that means, based on what we've learned here with our half-lives, he's still going to have propanone in his system, which means he's going to breathe out propanone. But he hasn't had ethanol, so he's not going to breathe out ethanol. So the answer therefore has to be yes, propanone, but no ethanol, which means 41 has to be B. So now if we move over to the last question, it says, which of the following would be detected in Fred's breath by the instrument if Fred maintains this diet? So remember what we said, the blood alcohol interlock ignition device. Now this device only detects alcohol. So if he was still on his diet, what would be detected in his breath? Remember, he says from the outset, he's not drinking alcohol. So it can't be 3-oxobutanoate because that's not an alcohol. So yes, it is an intermediate from the breakdown of fats for energy, but it's not the alcohol. Propanone is not the alcohol. It's the volatile ketone that gets broken down into the alcohol. So therefore, question 42, the answer is 2-propanol. So I think the trick here was just understanding that the instrument only detects alcohol. So the answer is C. So this unit, I guess the trick was just trying to comprehend what it was telling us. There was a couple of little things that you had to note in the stimulus, but it was straightforward. Just needed to know that the instrument only detects alcohol and what the difference is between the propanol and propanone. So propanone is a ketone, propanol is an alcohol. So that's the key here. So if you do have more questions about this stimulus or half-lives in general, you can post them in the comment section below, or you can contact us directly. We'd love to help. Thanks for your time. Bye now.